All right, Tim here with Fit to the Core. Today I'm going to go over our movement of the week, which is going to be a split squat, or think of a static lunge pattern. So this would be the foundation for a lot of the different types of lunges that we would do in here. So I got Heather, our member here at Fit to the Core, to be my model today. So I'm going to show you the side view of the split squat. So we're always going to start this position from the bottom. So what we're looking here is we want the back foot lined up with the knee and the hip. We want a 90-degree angle on each knee. What we're looking for here is for this knee to stay under the hip and this knee to stay pretty much lined up with the ankle. This ensures that we've got our core engaged. We've got good mobility on this front hip, and we're flexing on this back hip, we're getting a nice posterior tilt, so we've got a nice straight line from the hip to the knee. She's going to show you a couple reps here from the bottoms up. So when she's coming down, notice how the knee and the hip are going to stay in line with each other. So we're dropping into this 90-degree angle. We got the 90-degree angle in the front there. Then she's going to show you a common error that happens here. Most people are going to drive their knee forward, and they're going to drive this hip too far forward. And what we're getting here is we're starting to get into the lower back. It's not as much of an issue with the front knee, is that we're starting to lose our core stability, getting too much hyperextension of the back hip. So that common error could be due to lack of ankle mobility on the backside leg, or lack of core stability, which is going to affect your ability to get mobility on the hip. So she's going to show you a couple more reps on how to do it right. So we're going to keep the knee and the hip in alignment with each other back here. And we got the 90-degree angles here. So this is our first progression for our split squat. We're going to show you from the front angle here now. So we're going to show you the right way. So left knee first. Good. So we got those 90-degree angles. Your back foot's lined up with the back knee. Everything, the knee's going to stay between the ankle and the hip. So from the front side, she's going to show you how everything stays in alignment here. Ribs are down, hips an extension over here. Okay, the common error from the front side we're going to see, she struggles with on the right side. You're going to see this angle from her knee to her hip here. The knee is no longer between the knee and the hip. So now she's getting too much of this, what we would call a valgus angle. The knee's collapsing in. This could be a lack of stability from our glute medius over here, which helps to stabilize that knee and bring it back into a neutral position where it stays between the ankle and the hip. So that's the common mistake there. She's going to switch legs again. And we're going to show you one more time where we want this to stay. The knee is lined up with the hip and in between the ankle and the hip now. We've got that nice straight line. Keeping 90 degrees here, 90 degrees here, core's engaged. All right, so front foot's gripping. So this is what we want it to look like. Again, if we have those common mistakes of getting too long on the hip here, ribbing up, we're going to get into our lower back, and that's going to affect our hip mobility. It's going to start to affect our knee and our lower back. And if the knee's not lined up between the ankle and the hip, and you're getting that knee collapsing in, that could be due to lack of core stability, but also our glute on this side's not functioning like it should. You're going to start to get knee pain and hip pain and maybe some back pain. So we want to make sure that we're addressing those and making sure that if we can't, a lot of times it may not look right, so we have to understand why it doesn't look right. But today we showed you how we want to make sure that the knee stays under the hip, the core stays engaged, so we're keeping that hip mobile, flexing through the hip and moving through the hips, stabilizing through the core is going to be key on this. She's going to get back into a split squat position from the front side here. So this is, when we get to this split stance, it's going to start to require some more rotary stability. In other words, our rotational pattern, it's going to start to, forces that start to create rotation. So it's going to be our lat all the way through our deeper stabilizers here to the glute that's going to help keep that stabilization. So a lot of times when that knee does cave in, it could be lack of the glute, could be the lower abs through the stabilizers that's affecting this ability to do that. So we always want to make sure that we're keeping that clean pattern. So it's not always a skill issue. It could be the fact that they just can't get certain muscles on, and that's where we could start in this half kneel pattern and doing band press outs or something to challenge her from the side where it's going to be pushing her this way. Resist me. So we can start to work on rotary stability so she can engage those muscles without dynamically moving, and then we can start to move through the split squat pattern. So the split squat is a foundational pattern for when we start doing forward lunges, reverse lunges, or even walking lunges, but this is where we would start. So hopefully that helps you with your performance of the split squat pattern. and we'll be back next week with another movement tip of the week.